All right, class, we're moving on to Module 5. Thank you for your hard work in Module 4. We discussed the USA Patriot Act. Very good discussions on the Act. Again, as we talked in the discussion, you're either on the left or the right of the discussion, supporting or opposing the USA Patriot Act. This time in Module 4, we will explore the different agencies and organizations that can be found within the Department of Homeland Security. We'll explore some of those different agencies, but our focus this week is really on intelligence sharing. That's what our discussion is on. How do we discuss or how do we share intelligence among the many different law enforcement agencies and disaster agencies here in the United States that the Department of Homeland Security is responsible for? How do we recognize and share intelligence between these different agencies? And take that all the way from the street officer level or someone working in public safety, get that up to the fusion centers, the FBI as a partner agency, etc., and get that information disseminated back to those people on the street that really need that. One of the points that's made in our discussion this week, some have argued that local police are not only responsible for crime control, but also they're the eyes and ears of domestic intelligence. In our discussion so far, we have actually mentioned, some of you mentioned not only intelligence sharing and gathering on the federal and state levels, but also how some local law enforcement agencies have actually started their own intelligence units and what they're doing with the information. One of the things that we seem to agree on is that intelligence is sometimes gathered and sent to the top, and it's not, sent back down to police officers on the street or those working in public safety. We don't know what happens to it, and so in your discussions, consider how that information can be returned, shared once it's sent up, evaluated, analyzed, and then disseminated back to those officers on the street and those working in public safety, so that we truly can be the eyes and ears in sending the information back. It needs to be fluid as much as possible. We're also going to focus on border protection. Protection of the nation's borders has been a highly debated topic. We've seen some changes this week in the president when he issued an executive order allowing all the immigrants to stay in the United States legally, at least for the time being. And border protection is not just about illegal aliens, but it's also finding ways that we can, protect the country and keep the weapons of mass destruction from entering our borders, preventing the spread of infectious diseases. Obviously, some unlawful trade, trade that occurs on the black market, as well as the drug enforcement that takes place along our borders, as well as they're in the maritime areas with the United States Coast Guard. In our discussion, several of you have mentioned the important role of the Coast Guard. I'd encourage you to continue to discuss that. The Homeland Security Advisory System, again, this has also been highly debated. We've seen some major changes with the Homeland Security Advisory System from a color-coded system, to one now that has numbers in back and forth. So I'd like to have some really good discussion on your beliefs, whether or not you support the current Homeland Security Advisory System, and consider some of the different ways that we can share information with the public. How do we communicate with the public and let them know that a threat is imminent, that there's an issue there that we need to be concerned about, while preserving the security of the United States, as well as not, sending the public into a panic. How do we prevent that panic from taking place, yet get the information out to the public, as well as other public safety information services and systems that we have? Okay. So right now the system is made up of Homeland Security threat advisories, information bulletins that are sent out, and then obviously a system where we have numbers in the past color-coded system, a bulletin that goes out using red, orange, yellow, blue and green. And some of you may be familiar with this system, others may not. I encourage you to take a really good look at that. Go ahead and take a look at your blogs again if you don't mind. I've noticed that a few students are still not contributing to the blogs. Remember, those are highly important. We have to do those each week. They're worth 200 points in your overall grade. So go ahead and please take time to review the blogs and contribute to those if you're not doing that already. Also, if you have time, go ahead and pay close attention to your final project. That will be coming up soon. You've heard me mention that from the first day of the class. The final project's highly important. We'll discuss that more in depth as the weeks progress. If you're not only working on that. So thanks again for all the hard work that you're doing in the discussions, with the assignments. I think we've had some very good threads. One of the discussions actually had 9 entries because we had so many people interested and involved and curious about the Patriot Act. I'd like to see us do that this week on information sharing, if at all possible. It's Thanksgiving. We've got a couple of days off here, but pick back up on the weekend and try to get started there on the final project. Remember, on the discussions, some of the tips and points that I've mentioned in the past. Make sure that you please try to contribute to a minimum of 2 different discussions, different students, but I'd encourage you to participate in extended discussions as well. These are important. Please consider using the instructions and the rubric to develop these. It's important not just to agree with someone and state that you agree with them, but to extend your discussion and really get into the discussion. Don't just include 1 or 2 small sentences. I'd like to see you really discuss our topic this week again, which is information sharing. So just a little bit of overview of Module 5. This weekend I'll post some more information on the module as we go along, and also discuss that final that's coming up. Take a look at your grades. Make sure that your grades are correct. I've entered some zeros for assignments that have not been turned in yet. You still have an opportunity to catch up and turn those in. If you have time, please try to get those in as soon as possible. If you've not contributed to the discussion board as of yet, please go ahead and do that as soon as possible so that other students can contribute as well and have an opportunity to take a look at what you have to say, look at your thoughts, and then reply to those. So again, job well done. Thank you for all your hard work. We'll get back together on the discussions in a couple days. Have a great Thanksgiving, and thank you again for doing so well in the class. Each one of you should be commended. Have a great Thanksgiving.